had some conflict coming up for us pretty strongly.
Yeah. A lot of people would see that and be like, it's a bad omen, but...
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Serena.
And I'm James.
And we are Life After Union, two real twin flames in union. So today we are going to be sharing with you a 1-year update since we've been married and what that has brought up for us, karmic cycles, things that we're working on right now. So watch this video. Alright guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here today. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the little notification bell so you are notified every single time we make a new video about once a week. We cover different topics like twin flames, relationships, and then we do these update videos, kind of more of like our lifestyle and what's going on with us. So today we are talking about 1 year of marriage. How crazy is that?
It has gone by so quickly.
It's gone by so fast. Yeah, it's like hard to think that like June 11th, which is so funny, you guys. And this has never been our plan, is to have these things on 11. If you've been following our journey, you know our daughter was born on 11/11.
Married on the 11th.
And we got married on the 11th of June. And we literally did not even choose the 11th because we were like struggling to pick a date because of all the other stuff that was going on. Because if you guys don't know, I'm from the United States, James is from South Africa. We're getting married in South Africa, so we had to go through all the paperwork and the immigration stuff and the spousal visas. So all of these things, literally.
Good fun.
Yeah. And so the 11th was like literally the first Saturday after all of our paperwork got approved. It just happened to be like the 11th. Or maybe it was even a Sunday, I'm not even sure. But many of you guys would relate to seeing all the 11/11s and the 11 numerology. That's also true for us too.
1 and 1 makes 11.
Exactly. So today we are giving you guys an update. We've had some conflict coming up for us pretty strongly.
Yeah.
In the, not just alone the year that we've been together, but like recently. And so I want to share with you guys a little bit about like what's going on in the collective right now that I'm tapping into, because I've been having a lot of stuff come up with my karmic. And so for me, you know, when you think about the way cycles work, a year out from something, 6 months out from something, right? A week. Like these are cycles. We live in a cyclical nature, and so we also heal in a cyclical nature. So if you look at your own life that way and you think, oh, it's been a year since I've broken up with so-and-so, why am I feeling so crappy? It's because that cycle is coming back around again, right? And there's a reason why all the planets rotate. There's a reason why we're all rotating. There's a reason why it's 365 days of the year. So without getting too much into that, we're coming up on a year in our marriage, and for me personally, like choosing to marry you was like a big thing, I think, between the karmic, right? Because when you're in a twin flame dynamic and you've got a third party or you've got a karmic situation, the choice is kind of between you and that person, right? So it's between your twin and that person. And so choosing to marry you for me was like a big cutoff of that completely. Like that is no longer a part of my life. That is no longer ever going to be a part of my life. And so now I have a lot of those cycles coming back up for myself right now. And I'll give you guys an example. I even had a dream last night that my karmic was driving with me in a car, and we were driving in South Africa. And if you guys don't know, and you're from the United States, South Africans drive on the other side of the road.
The correct side of the road.
So we were driving, and he was going up the wrong way on the off ramps, and then we would back down like in between all the traffic, and I was like freaking out, and I was like saying to myself in the dream, like reminding myself, why are you letting this person drive? Like, you're in your home country, you know how to drive here, why are you letting this person drive? And this was a big reminder to me, like, why am I letting these cycles and these programs take over my life right now, right? Like, I've had big insecurities coming up recently between you and myself. You know, just feeling unworthy or unloved, and like you can see very clearly that it's not because of really anything you're doing. It's just being exacerbated by like whatever's going on between us, and it's these karmic cycles. So if you guys are going through also these karmic cycles coming up, just know they're coming up this time to really fully be cleared. And especially if you are in union, if you're working towards union, it's really important to notice whether you're falling into a program and creating conflict with the person you love out of habit or out of like real conflict in this moment, right? So most of the time it's just out of a program. It's out of something you've seen, heard, done before that's trying to repeat or trying to play out. And that's what's been going on for us. We've had a lot of a lot of power struggles going on in our relationship.
As you can see.
Yeah, and just kind of repeating like things that I feel like we've come across before, but kind of just repeating them on a different or new level.
Well, I feel like the things that we're starting to repeat, yes, we're repeating things that we've worked our way through, but the lessons we're learning from the things that we are now repeating are new lessons. It's not that we're repeating the same thing and learn the same thing every single time.
It's a new outcome.
It's a new outcome every single time. So every single time we've moved through something new, there's been a whole new oh shit, we didn't think of this last time, and now moving through that. And
can I actually expand on that really quickly?
Of course you can.
And so like when you say that, that's completely true. And what I usually find is like when I have that conflict with somebody in the past, it's usually that I have to change how I'm doing things, or I have to like fix myself or something. But what actually has been coming up when we heal things together is actually that I can have a partner support me in whatever it is I'm going through, right? So it's like, it's a whole different level of healing. It's not like me needing to do it by myself anymore. It's like a confirmation that you're actually there to support me. And that's my experience.
And that doesn't make you codependent.
Right.
That's still you being an individual, but having somebody there who's able to help you through the hard times, which is a very big thing to be able to distinguish between the two differences. I mean, as well, if you look at it, we almost a year into marriage now. The spot we got married on, we just had some big weather this side, has now pretty much been washed away, which a lot of people would see that and be like, it's a bad omen. But as well, it also could be like, we've gone through a full cycle, and now all the shit that we've moved through that hasn't actually been beneficial is now in some ways been washed away. We've now into a new cycle, so we're no longer trying to bring up the old things. We've dealt with those in this last cycle. Now this new cycle will bring up new things and might make us look at other things we hadn't looked at previously. So just to see that sometimes, and this for me sounds very hippie-ish, but you're looking at the signs that are around you and what actually what stands out to you. Because I mean, some people would see that and they would see something completely different to how I would view it, or the way you view it. I mean, the way we view those things is also completely different, but ultimately it's the exact same. It's just a different pathway to get to the same kind of outcome.
And who knows, maybe we'll build a whole new, at some point with your carpentry skills, maybe we'll build a whole new pergola there. And it's funny that you say that and you bring that up, because I remember when you sent me the picture of that, like it didn't actually even like dawn on me that it would have been a negative thing. So I think that's how you guys know, like when you start seeing signs, you start noticing things and you don't see it as negative anymore, you see the positive in it, right? So you were seeing like, oh, all the stuff that's old has been washed away, like we get to start over from a clean slate. I think that's really important.
Yeah, and it's still very much in a positive light as well. I mean, I don't think either one of us saw that whole thing with any negativity behind it. I think the only times that negativity comes out is when other people might be trying to see things from a different perspective, and you're like, okay, well, I understand that and I see that, but that's not my perspective.
Yeah.
And then to make sure that you know where your view was and stick true to that. Doesn't mean you have to disregard that other thought process, but it does mean that now has become your main focus, because that's not what your focus was.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very important thing to accept and acknowledge and listen to it, but still make sure you remain in your own truth. And if that plays part into your truth, then yeah, you reshuffle a little bit and you move forward. But it must always be your truth that you're looking at the end of the day and how you move forward.
Yeah, and you get to consciously choose if you want to adopt that person's perspective or not.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I think that's really true, and that's especially true in the twin flame dynamic, because twin flames know that this is a really crazy scenario, right? And so when you start talking to other people about it, they're not always going to have the most positive things to say. So you have to be really strong in your beliefs and what you want your world to be and what you want your viewpoint to be. Because if you're not, you're going to create something completely different at the end of the day. Like, if you're not certain in what your truth is and what your beliefs are, then you're going to end up creating part of their reality, like their truth is going to bleed into yours. And not to say that that's a bad thing. Sometimes that can be really positive.
Yeah.
You know, like some people can change your perspective for the better, and then you adopt that in a positive way. But I think what you're saying is ultimately really true.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, majority of people, obviously not saying anything bad about people, but most often, majority of people, when we look at a situation, the first things we identify are normally the negatives, because the negatives always seem to be the first things that are always easily identifiable, where sometimes you go look a little bit deeper, a little bit harder to actually find the positive out of a situation, no matter if you consider it to be a good or a bad situation.
Yeah.
And to be able to take that as a strength and be like, okay, well, yes, this situation, not obviously what happened now with all of that, but it could be like this situation was quite a negative thing, but what is the positive outcome we can get from this? And I think that bringing that mindset into relationship as well really benefits us hugely, because we're not then having an argument or something and being like, oh, well, that was really negative and what. We're like, okay, well, that wasn't a great fight or whatever it may be, but how can we actually come out of this in a positive, happy light to actually move ourselves forward?
Yeah. Well, and this is like, if you guys follow me on TikTok, I'm doing a lot of like love messages of the day and like small little tidbits on relationships. I actually got an insight the other day from our fight that when you can't remember what you were fighting about in the first place, it's actually this sign to you that your subconscious programs were taking over. Because a lot of times that'll happen to us is we'll get in a fight and then neither one of us can remember literally like what the fight like originated of. And then that's how you know like the conflict wasn't an in the moment conflict. It was because you had like a program running. Because your subconscious mind is filled with everything that we don't actually even know is in there. So when you have a fight and you don't remember what's going on or why that happened, you have to try so hard to remember it, because that will give you the insight as to what program started to take over. So that's just a little tidbit of advice for you.
Free of charge.
Yeah, in your next fight, if that happens to you, try to remember it, because it will give you so much insight. But anything else you want to share in this year of life that we've spent together?
It's just been amazing to have you by my side.
Thanks, baby.
And I'm not just saying it really has. It's been an incredible year. I mean, you think of everything we've gone through in this last year, through all of our ups and downs, through going through that hassle of paperwork, to getting married, to building our house that we're now living that still needs to be complete, to having this beautiful daughter that we have. And life has just been amazing. And I couldn't be any happier than what I am right now. And I've definitely got the best partner in the world for me.
For you, yeah.
I don't care about other people. For me.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think this is a really good opportunity to take a step back and look at everything that we have done, and everything that we have accomplished, because it can be really easy to get lost in like what still needs to be accomplished, like every time we watch these videos and I'm like, oh, that ceiling, those walls that don't even exist, those non-existent walls, and to get caught up in like just your day-to-day life, especially having a baby, you get really caught up in just the day-to-day living, that it is nice to kind of take this opportunity to just be like, okay, yeah, like we're living the thing, we're doing it.
See the positive.
Yeah, to see the positive.
We have a roof over our head and a beautiful house and an incredible family. And yeah.
And we live very free with our time also. I mean, not a lot of people can live as freely with their time as we do.
And I mean, you might see that we got a couple of gaps here and there, but it's natural aircon.
Thank you guys so much for watching our video. If you have any questions for us about year of not just union, but year of marriage and year of committing and living together and raising children and all these things, if you have any questions, put them down below. If you are looking for any more resources, you can check the links in the description, and we will see you in the next video. Lots of love.
Bye.
Bye.